Welcome to Personal Profiles. I'm Nighat Shah. Today we have with us Phil Darius Wallace, and he goes by his middle name, Darius. He's an actor, director, and an accomplished coach, speech
Yes.
coach. And that's how I met with him because he coached me for my TEDx
Yes,
speech.
indeed. Yes, indeed. You did well.
Thank you so much, and welcome on this show.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm glad that you're doing this and that you remembered me and wanted me to come and be a part of it. So
Oh,
I
of course,
appreciate that.
I love to have you here. And Darius, I want to ask you about your name first.
Okay.
Why do you go by your middle name, not by your first name? Is it because it's a King Darius name?
Actually, my full name, of course, is Phil Darius Wallace. My father's name is Phil, but I'm not a junior because he doesn't have a middle name. So rather than everybody calling me Phil, because that's my father's name, they just
Okay.
decided to call me Darius. Most people 8 billion people on the planet pronounce it Darius.
Exactly. We
Only
spoke-
I pronounce it Darius, so I just hit the mic there. And so it confuses people, but it's unique, and I love the name. And I was sitting at a cafe in Los Angeles, and I don't know why, I can't remember what event it was, but I had on a fez, a red fez. And it was a couple sitting across the way, and they said, I'm interested in your fez. Tell me about it. So we talked about it. I said, where are you from? They said, Iran. And then they said, well, what is your name? I said, it's Darius. He said, oh, Dariush. And I said, oh,
Yeah.
is that how you pronounce it? He says, yes, it's Persian. It's Iranian, Dariush. And so that gave me the correct pronunciation of the name from the land from which it came. But my father, for whatever reason, emphasized a different syllable, and rather than it being Darius,
It's
Darius.
like Darius, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's Dariush and the regal name.
yes,
There you go.
it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love the name, and so I decided to, as a stage name too, mainly go by that because everybody seems to like it. So
Yeah, and it's unique. And that's
Yes.
why it's also very good.
yeah.
So, Darius, tell us about your journey from stage to acting and then coaching and now directing.
Well, it's been a long journey. I got into acting. My story was when I was 13. I've been this size since I was 13,
That's nice.
which is
yeah.
pretty big,
And also,
right?
you were raised in Flint, Michigan.
Raised in Flint, Michigan.
Yes, yeah.
And Flint is not the safest place, even though I still love my city. I've been this size since I was 13. What got me into acting is my father took me to a movie. I came back and started kicking, punching, and screaming. I had just seen Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon. Wanted to be just like Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
And so I practiced martial art. I was 13, but I was very shy,
Yeah.
and I couldn't express myself. And so when I got emotional, the only way I knew how to express was with my hands. And so I was a prime target for gang life. And there was an intervention. My middle school vice principal caught me with a weapon I shouldn't have had and gave me an ultimatum. Said you can continue going the way you're going and go to jail or juvenile, or you can do what I know you love to do, which is drama, or I can tell your daddy. Now let me be clear.
What an impact. Of
Yeah,
a teacher.
you can send me to jail or juvenile, but just don't tell my daddy.
Oh my God.
So I got out of it and got into theater, and the high school theater teacher knew I was shy, so he taught me pantomime that got me into my body, and then I had a breakthrough, and then I started to act, and I went on to acting school, and then I wanted to take control of my career, so I wrote a one-person show. As it stands, I do a one-person show on the life of Frederick Douglass. And then I said, well, what would it be like to write and direct my own movie? And one day I wrote a script called 100 Lives. And it was an independent film done right here in Memphis.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
shot here in Memphis.
Yeah, back a long time ago. And that opened up doors for me to do more directing. And then as far as the speech coach, it was an accident. There was a a person here in Memphis, very influential guy, um, that runs a commercial real estate company that found out I was an actor and said, "Hey, would you be willing to work with my brokers?" And I was like, "Sure." And so I started working with them, and that opened up more doors for coaching, and it just kind of snowballed
Of course.
from there. So that's
Darius, it's such a wonderful journey that you explained, and you also told us about your early childhood, like how it happened, and there was this one person who influenced your whole life. And how do you see the importance of influence on young kids' lives?
Oh, I see it as super important. You know, that was an intervention that I needed. I could have easily have gone in a direction that would have been just a completely other
Yes.
situation for me. And it was because not just the vice principal, but the theater teacher also believed in me until I learned to believe in myself.
Wow.
And helped me see that I could do the things that I didn't believe I could do. I too didn't believe I could stand and speak in front of people. I was flunking my 8th grade theater class because every time I stood up in front of people, I would forget all my lines because I was too shy.
It's their belief in you made you believe in yourself.
That's right. They believed in me until I was able to believe in myself.
Yeah, so it's so important for us adults to give that back to young children.
Oh, absolutely. You know, sometimes when children are experiencing challenges, we see them as glass half empty. And we see what's wrong and why isn't it working out. But it's better to see children as glass half full, what could be, and how do you see what else is out there. I have 2 adults now, young adults, but they're all autistic. And so we had to learn to see them as glass half full.
Yeah, that's
And what
helpful.
that did, it opened up a lot of doors through the years, and they grew a lot. And
Yeah.
there are things that even certain doctors felt that they wouldn't be able to do, they can do.
There's a power
There's a power there.
in seeing them. Like
Yes.
they are able to do certain things.
Hmm.
Yeah, even when you see the glass half full, it's perfect,
Yes, it is.
right?
It
So
is.
there's perfection,
That's
or
right.
perfection is something we should not aspire for. This is the lowest standard.
Right.
Agreed.
Yeah. Progress over perfection.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So now you're not living in Memphis, so you moved to Atlanta. Can you tell us about that? Why did you move from Memphis to Atlanta? It's because we don't have that many opportunities for artists here, for actors here, for film industry here. And how is the landscape of indie film making in Memphis?
I think Memphis has a lot of opportunities, and it's growing. There's a very strong and supportive film community that's here, and is creating a lot of opportunities for actors here. I think the reason why I chose Atlanta is because there's a realm I want to move into, not just for film and television, but also as a stage actor, as well as a speaker and coach. And then I just like Atlanta. I like
Yes,
Atlanta
it's
a
a
lot.
big city.
It's a big city, and I really enjoy it. But you know, I'm back and forth,
Yeah,
and so I still do things here in Memphis. But I just wanted to have open the door to a new life, really. And Atlanta has given me that opportunity to see some other things that are out there. But I think Memphis, you know, has a lot of great things going on in the film world, so independent film world.
what are some of the specific programs that you like about Memphis? Things that you like about Memphis?
Well, you know, Memphis has also a pretty broad theater scene,
Okay.
and even though it's community theater, they're doing great work. And then it also has professional theaters, Playhouse on the Square, Tennessee Shakespeare, which I'm a founding company member.
That's right.
And also too, you know, the Film Commission is very supportive of the film community here. You know, there's different networks of filmmakers working together, and it's almost becoming a true community, you know, family-like space where you can get used to the lights and the cameras. You can get used to acting for the camera. So I think that that's great. And then also too, there's certain initiatives that, you know, are not publicized, of people who are really trying to do a lot to build Memphis and make it a better city. And so I really appreciate, through all the challenges that Memphis may have, that there are people, whether they're in the arts or whether politics, or whether teachers or people in churches or spiritual communities that have a heart to do
Yeah.
something, you know, to make Memphis a better place.
I agree, because in a way Memphis is getting better,
It is, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I love Memphis.
Mhm.
I will share a very funny story.
Okay.
You know, a couple of years ago, actually a couple of months ago, we spoke about, my husband and I spoke about that we might have to move out of Memphis because we hear lots of like negative news about Memphis and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And my son he goes to school in Boston. He comes, he's like, you know, guys, I'm a Memphian.
Mhm.
I will stay in Memphis, I will grow old in Memphis, and I will die in Memphis. I'm like, we have to make sure we do something in Memphis. We're not thinking about moving after that.
Yeah.
I'm like, if our kids are so attached to Memphis, so we have to stay in Memphis and make Memphis a better place.
Yes.
Try to do our part. Darius, I know you're a great speech coach. If you can summarize like a couple of very important things that new speakers get wrong, and how can they fix themselves or maybe become better speakers, what are those points, like
Sure.
3 or 4 or 5?
Sure. Well, I would say the biggest one is be careful to be self-conscious and self-centered. That a lot of the fear is because you're focused so much on yourself.
On yourself, yeah. It's like attention in.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. And so one of the things that releases you from that is when you become more concerned about the people you're speaking in front of and what their needs are. And so I would say that's one thing. The other thing is sometimes we feel like we have to get out a lot of information, facts, statistics, numbers. And I would say don't forget about the stories. Stories are super important because it reaches us emotionally and it engages us.
Okay. So
Yeah.
speaking is not really about giving information. It's about telling them a story.
Yeah, it's the story and the information kind of marry each other, and it's the transference of that idea. And then it's the value that the person or people you're speaking to can walk away with.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I would say that. Also, I would say preparation. You know, it's funny because I think I've already asked you this, so you probably already know, and I don't mean this metaphorically, but what is an iceberg? Just the fact of what an iceberg is. What is it?
It's just the tip of the ice.
Right. It's in the ocean, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing that the Titanic thought.
Yeah.
And the Titanic procrastinated until it was too late. And then the Titanic hit that huge block of ice,
Yes.
and it sank the unsinkable ship. Is because that ice wasn't just a block of ice; it was really a full-blown mountain, and that was the tip of the ice. And
we
so
could see.
you don't see.
Yeah.
So the preparation is the work we do that people don't see,
That's true.
but the impact.
Here's the thing. Many speakers make you believe that they're so seamless. They don't, it's just happening to them.
Uh-huh.
But even amazing, big, good speakers are putting so much work into preparation.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right?
It's super, super important.
So it's not like rare that people will just get on the stage and just speak. It's rare. I mean, it's very rare
Yes,
that people
very
will
rare.
not prepare and make an amazing speech.
Yes, it's very rare. And most times when people do that, it's topics that they speak on all the time.
All day.
Yeah, there are 3 different students I always run into. Improvisers,
Okay.
people that speak on the topic and they can get up and go off the top of their head. Outliners, people that can look at the point and then come and expound on that point. And then memorizers, people that actually take the text and memorize and make you believe it's organic. But either one, it's important to practice. It's important to practice. You know, I've heard the saying, practice, it's not practice that makes perfect, but perfect practice does.
Okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense. It's not the practice that makes you perfect, but perfect practice does.
That's right.
Darius, my one question I almost forgot. Who are your biggest inspiration in theater and also in film over the years?
Yeah, I would say the 2 biggest inspirations and 3 biggest inspirations in theater is James Earl Jones. Actually, Whoopi Goldberg. She did a one-person show on Broadway that was amazing. And a woman that you may not have heard of, Sarah Jones, who also was a one-person show artist.
I've heard of
You
her.
heard of her? Yeah,
Yes.
she's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Film, it would be Sidney Poitier, Denzel Washington, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Marlon Brando, um, and Jeffrey Wright are the actors. There are others too. Viola Davis, Meryl Streep.
Oh, I love her.
Yeah,
Viola
Viola Davis is
I
amazing.
finished reading her book, Finding Me,
Yeah.
and then I started watching How to Get Away with Murder.
Yeah, yeah.
And I binge watched it for like in a week. I finished it.
Oh wow, yeah, she's fantastic.
Yes.
So those are my inspirations indeed.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful. You know,
Yeah.
it's important to have inspiration
Yeah,
in your field. Yeah.
it is. Yeah,
It
I'm a
keeps
firm
you
believer.
going.
Yes,
It
I was
does.
thinking that on my way over.
Yep.
The idea that to cultivate the need to cultivate on a regular basis
Of course.
inspiration. You know, life has its challenges. So,
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
yeah.
What is your advice for young people who are starting their journey into this field, your field?
I would say the main thing is, regardless of the challenges, don't give up. Stick to it. The only way that you'll fail is if you quit. I would also say that don't feel that you have to just be an artist. Diversify and find other joys to make you happy and support yourself. And you can marry the two and make them both work for you. But at the end of the day, don't give up on your passion.
Totally agree.
Yes.
That's wonderful. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for your time.
Thank you. I
And
appreciate
I
it.
really enjoyed speaking with you
Yes,
about
likewise.
acting and about your journey and also about speaking.
Yes, I appreciate
That's like
that.
my weakness. It has been. So I really
Yes.
like that. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it.